Timmy, why are you so lazy? So cute. Hello everyone, it's Hindash. Welcome back to my channel. Me and Timmy have been just chilling at home as we all should be. So as we all know, times have been a bit weird lately. So I obviously can't have any models in my studio. I can't shoot any nude looks. But thank God I have so many tutorials that I've done, so many looks that I've done in my archive. So I will be bringing those back up. And this is exactly one of those videos. It's a video I did with Mona. We decided to do it last minute. If you guys don't know who Mona is, she is such an amazing person. She is one of my favorite people. There's a hair on my nose. So Mona runs Huda Beauty as well. She is Huda Kattan's sister, so Mona Kattan. And I always do her makeup on big shoots. So this is one of those days where I was like, let's film it while we do it. Why not? And the video is finally coming. So I've done Mona's makeup for years and we've played around with so many different looks, but this is the look that she is very comfortable with and that we nail every time. So this is kind of like a classic look that goes with any outfit she's wearing. So whatever she's changing into, this will kind of transition into the look really beautifully. So yeah, before this video begins, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already so you can see more of these videos, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye. Alright, so this is Mona's beautiful before and after, and I'm going to be starting off with skincare as always, and I'm using the Caudalie Beauty Elixir just to freshen her up and wake her up. For a serum, I'm taking the Dior Capture Youth Plump Filler. I love this. It's basically a hyaluronic acid, and I'm just going to be hydrating her skin and prepping it for moisturizer. And just rubbing that in, giving her a gentle massage, getting that blood circulation flowing, because it was very early in the morning. And then for a moisturizer, I'm taking the Embryollise Creme Concentre, and I'm going to be applying that all over her face. And I love this moisturizer because it acts like a primer, it's very nourishing, and it just feels really good on the skin, and makeup sits beautifully on top of this, really, really good. It really reminds me of a thin magic cream, and I love applying this all over. Next for eye cream, I'm going to be taking the La Mer The Eye Concentrate. And I'm just going to be putting that underneath the eyes and then tapping it in very gently. Again, this is going to be very cooling and makeup is going to sit really well on top of this. Just give her a gentle pat. For a primer, I'm taking the Farsali Skintune Blur and I'm applying that all over the face, mainly concentrating it on the T-zone. But this feels very nice on the skin. It doesn't feel drying. It almost feels hydrating, but it does really work. I really like this. I don't reach for this often, but it's a really good product. And as you just wait for it to kind of set, it doesn't go powdery, it just turns into a nice base for foundation to stick on top of. And again, massaging her face. On the lips, I'm going to be taking the Lucas Pawpaw Ointment, always, and I'm applying a generous layer and kind of leaving it on as a lip mask so that by the time we get to lips, her lips are nice and hydrated and they're ready for lip products. I'm going to be mixing a bit of highlighter in with my foundation, and I'm taking the Huda Beauty Nymph in Luna, which is the lightest shade. And I'm mixing in the Dior Face and Body Foundation in 3W, one of my favorite foundations. And this kind of thickens it up because that highlighter is a bit thick. So mixing them together and applying that on the face in a very thin layer and building it up. And Mona has great skin, so I don't want to layer on the foundation too heavy. I'm just going to spread it out nicely. I'm going to work on the outside of the face and blending it in very thin layers and strokes. And I was surprised by how the highlighter kind of thickened the foundation and gave it a bit more coverage actually. And as always, going lighter on the forehead because I am going to be adding that cream contour and the bronze. For cream contour, I'm taking the Too Faced Born This Way Concealer in Butterscotch, and I'm going to apply that on the cheekbones, jawline, temples, forehead, nose and chin. So pretty much all the areas that I want to contour and add a bit more dimension and color. And I'm going to be blending everything with my foundation brush. You guys know I love doing this because the foundation on the brush is going to help blend that contour and it's not going to skip, if that makes sense. Because sometimes when you use a dry brush, it kind of skips with the contour and the creams. And if you guys didn't notice, we're obviously in Mona's house because we have the background as one of her paintings and the light keeps changing because there's a big window in front of us and the light is coming and going. It's very early in the morning and it kind of like annoys me when I'm watching this video, but you know, we just gotta let it flow and just let it be. And as I'm doing that, I'm really working the contour in, and if you want to go in with a damp beauty blender, which I do, I kind of take a bit of the excess out and just blend that even further with a clean damp beauty blender. For concealer, I'm going to be taking the Tarte Shape Tape in light medium and applying that underneath the eyes. And one more thing to note is that I am adding more coverage. I'm using more products in this tutorial because it is a photo shoot based makeup. So she is under a lot of lights. She's being photographed all day and the makeup is staying on her face all day. So I really wanted that extra boost of coverage. And you'll see I go in with more powders than usual as well. And I'm blending that concealer with my damp beauty blender and just really working it in seamlessly with the layers of the contour and the foundation. So the goal here is to create a lot of dimension. So it's not really about just coverage, but having that light and dark contrast dimension. Because when she photographs and when the flash hits her, I really want that dimension to translate on camera as well. So it is going to look more extra and more heavier on the camera as we're filming. Next, I'm going to be going in with cream blush. This is the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in Ballet Slipper. I love this. And I love Danessa Myricks. You guys have to check her out on Instagram as well. Her work is beautiful. And I'm blending that blush in with my foundation brush again to blend everything in seamlessly and work it into the skin. To set everything, I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder in Banana Bread. One of my favorite loose powders actually, so beautiful, and I'm using that with a beauty blender. And I'm putting that underneath the eyes and tapping it onto areas where I want to set. So basically tapping it all over the face. Next, I'm going to go in with brows and I'm using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade number 4.5. And as you can see, Mona has her brows microbladed, so I'm going to be going over the areas and just enhancing the shape even more and concentrating that color on the outer part of the brow. Because she doesn't need much in the front of her brow, I'm just going to brush that up later. So I'm just going to be concentrating most of the color on the outside. Next, to set everything, I'm doing a brow powder, and this is the Viseart Brow Palette. And again, because she is going to be photographed, it's really nice to set the brows with a brow powder so they don't kind of look shiny on camera. And I really love a brow powder on the front of the brow, just working in very thin layers to create those hair-like strokes. And it adds that extra dimension that we need. For eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Matte and Metal Melted Shadows in Double Pump Latte. You guys know this is one of my favorites. And I'll apply that all over the eye as a base and blending it up. And you can do this shade alone, but I love using this as an eyeshadow base. And just really work it in, and it really does neutralize the lid and cancels out any color. It gives you that warm peachy tone. And I'm applying a bit of that underneath the lower lash line as well. For eyeshadow palettes, I'm dipping into two. The first one is the New Nude palette, and the second one is the Rose Gold Remastered. So I'm starting off by taking the two lightest shades in the New Nude palette and just kind of working it into the crease, and that's going to help my transition color, and it's going to help whatever color I put blend in even better because you have that powdery base underneath. And from the Rose Gold palette, I'm taking that warm caramel color and working it into the crease, starting on the outer corners and just building it in. And I really love starting colors on the outer corners because that's where you want the most depth and intensity. And then you blend them into the crease. And you want to do that back and forth until you're happy with the blend. I really love going back to my transition shades as well and working them in just to make sure everything is seamless. And then dipping into that chocolate shade, I'm going to be working it into the outer corners even more and just adding that extra intensity because it's all about layering and building up that color. And from the melted shadows, I'm taking the metal side and I'm applying a bit of that with my finger, really blend it in, just so we have that layer of sparkle and a bit of a creamy layer for my powders to sit on top of. And from the Rose Gold palette, I'm taking that champagne shade and applying that directly on top of it. Now, these are very creamy, so it didn't really need a base, but you know, why not? And I always love applying shimmers with my fingers. They just really apply so much more beautifully and more intensely. And just packing that on. To get those stubborn inner corners, I'm using a brush and just really working it into the inner corners of the eyes and the lower lash line for that pop of color in the center and on the inner corner. For mascara, I'm taking the NARS Climax mascara. Now, Mona has amazing lashes, so I always love to coat them with mascara, and then, of course, she loves lashes, so we put lashes after. And now I can see that I want to add more depth, so I'm going back into that chocolate shade and putting it into the crease even more. So it's always nice to kind of revisit the look after you've put mascara to see what you're missing. Mona loves liner and lashes, and we never do a shoot without them because that's what she loves. So I'm using the Tom Ford Eye Defining Pen. And I'm going to be creating a classic liner shape, pretty much straight out with a straight edge. But again, keeping it classic because we are putting lashes on top, so I can kind of go a bit thicker than usual and wing it out. And of course for lashes, we're going to be using the Huda Beauty lashes in Samantha, which are actually my favorite Huda Beauty lashes, and I'm going to be applying that on Mona. And as you see, the lashes are super fluttery, so the liner really helps kind of ground them. For blush, I'm taking the Laura Mercier Blush Color Infusion in the shade Strawberry, one of my all-time favorite blushes. I love this blush. And I'm applying that on the apples of the cheeks on top of where I did that cream, for that extra intensity and that pop for when she gets photographed. So again, we're putting more than we usually would. And going over all the areas where I've cream contoured with the Benefit Hoola bronzer. And applying that with a fluffy brush all over for that extra flush of color to kind of diffuse everything and add more warmth. So this is really all about working in layers so that it looks beautiful on camera. And I'm using that to contour the nose as well. For highlighter, I'm taking the Huda Beauty 3D Highlighter Palette in Bronze Sands, and I'm dipping into the lighter champagne shade. And starting off with a bit of nose highlight, putting it on the tip of the nose and down the bridge. And then moving down to the Cupid's bow and a bit on the chin. And then with a fluffier brush, I'm going to be taking that on the cheekbones and highlighting the cheekbones as well. Pretty high up and down to the cheeks because that's going to really blend in with the blush and give it a nice dimension. And I go over that with blush as well, just to really blend everything together. For lips, I'm using the lip combo that I always use on Mona all the time. This is the Huda Beauty Lip Contour in the shade Flirt. And I'm going to be lining her lips, and because this is darker than the lip color that I want to use, I'm just keeping it on the edges. And the lip color that I always use on Mona is a Huda Beauty Liquid Matte Lipstick in the shade Bombshell. I love this. It's one of my favorite shades from the line, and it's the one that I always use on Mona. So it's a beautiful peachy pink. And that is the final look on how I do Mona's makeup for a shoot. This is how we pretty much do the makeup on every shoot we've done. We just change the eyes up a bit. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up and a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.